So we just revisited just for shits and giggles, the premiere of the Deep Space Nine series, the Emissary. Yes. In my opinion, the best premiere of the series.
Of any of them.
Yeah. It beats Encounter at Farpoint, and it beats the
By
Voyager
a
premiere.
long mile. Both of those.
And not without its issues, but I mean,
and oh God, there's issues. But
that we picked up on in revisiting it. But Deep Space Nine was probably the best Star Trek series out of all of them.
Yeah.
All told. And not that I didn't love the Next Gen, I did, but DS9 was a really good series
in the modern era, because you really can't compare TOS to any of them.
Well, no, the modern era, the Next Gen,
DS9, Voyager, Enterprise.
Yeah.
And then Star Trek ended.
Pretty much.
So first of all, Wolf 359, outside of the connection to the Outer Limits.
Yeah.
Starfleet's really stupid. First of all, their attack pattern were just like, British infantry just lining up in a column and ready to get mowed down.
Right.
And then the bigger problem, which I know kind of destroys the whole concept of the show, is why are there civilians on any of these ships?
Right.
First of all, the Saratoga, which is God, what was the class of the starship?
It was Reliant.
Miranda. No, it was Miranda class.
Yeah.
I didn't think there was enough room for anybody on a Miranda class starship because it was a science vessel.
Right.
And yet there's families and civilians on board.
Get the civilians to the escape pods. I mean, really, you're going into you're to engage with the Borg.
You're a part of an attack fleet.
Not just you're going up against some Klingons or some Romulans. And you got civilians on board.
Wouldn't you want to offshore them?
Wouldn't you want to evacuate them somehow?
Either by shuttlecraft or the escape pods, or
right,
or hey, somebody's got to pick these people up.
Right, get it. Load them up on the shuttles and as many as you can, and the escape pods, and leave them for someone to come pick them up, if nothing else, because you know that there would be somebody at least nearby enough to be able to come and recover them, and not put them in
harm's way.
In harm's way like that. I mean, civilian presence in a battle like that,
and
so then yeah. I mean,
that was like, and I understand it's the linchpin, the underpinning of the show, of the episode, that, this is how Cisco...
This is how, Cisco's wife dies, but...
Maybe they
could have been any number of other ways that could have happened.
She could have been an officer.
But connecting it to the, the Wolf 359 incident, and, with Locutus, just to have that be the connection.
Was it to be so they could hand off to the new show? Which I didn't think was... you could have just had that with O'Brien, and I understand that Michelle Forbes was supposed to be the native.
Right.
But I don't think...
Kira was supposed to be Ro, yeah. But
I don't think...
I think the show was better with Kira.
With Kira.
Yes.
And I don't think that myself, when I was watching this originally, or since then, could handle both Michelle Forbes and Terry Farrell in the same show, talking all that wonderful techno babble, and just I couldn't be able to handle it. I can barely think about it right now. So thank God for that.
Ooh, yeah.
And then see what else.
But besides that,
yes. I have the thing about O'Brien's rank, because when he was on TNG, he had 2 lieutenant pip, and then in this episode, is that a under officer or a crewman pip, or because it's not an ensign pip, it's the same pip that Wesley had before he became an ensign, and then later on in Deep Space Nine, he has a little flag thing. So, but these are very small.
Those are minor things.
Yes.
Yeah, it made you wonder.
What was his, whatever was his rank.
Right.
Just because he was a chief?
And that just might have been lack of
continuity,
of attention to detail on the part of the production staff.
And it's all right, but this is one of the things, because O'Brien, I mean, they're all great characters, but O'Brien especially, they seem to love to pick on him.
Yeah.
And I don't like the everyman concept that the writing staff and the production team gave, oh, he's the everyman, so we got to pick on him. Well, screw you.
Right.
Because after the first time
Comini was great.
Yeah. Because the first time I was fucked with, like they fucked with O'Brien, I would have told him where to go and what to do with it. And then that shrill wife of his.
I mean, really, because he came from the fucking flagship of the Federation.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't need this noise.
I don't need this shit.
Yeah.
Right.
So I'm just saying, poor O'Brien.
But, you know, it still, as it progressed and the whole thing with Cisco as the emissary played out, it was really, really well done.
Yes. So
really well edited, with all the different realities that he found himself in and all that stuff, and the way it was played. I really liked it, and still do.
Now the thing I have to be like, well, so later on, spoilers, Cisco is revealed to be more than what he is. So in this encounter with the prophets,
right,
they're just fucking with him because they don't have a concept of linear time, so they already know what's happened or what's going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
They know his involvement and his part in everything. So why are they fucking with him? Because they have to?
Well, I think it's because they don't understand why he doesn't know all of it yet. Because of his linear existence, and they're like, wait a minute, but don't you know that
this is what the fuck you're doing?
This is what you're going to be.
Yeah.
Why not? And why do you exist here? And you know.
And you don't even exist here. And you're existing over there.
You don't exist here yet.
Yeah.
We don't get it. Maybe.
Yeah, I know, but I think we're writing for them.
I think they're trying to come to an understanding of his perception of the passage of time, because they didn't have a perception. It's not theirs, right?
Still, I think they were fucking with.
But it was still really well done.
Yes. Oh yeah. No. But I those wormhole aliens are real assholes.
Yeah.
And the Pa wraiths aren't much better. Look how they treat the Ferengi, when the Ferengi go into the wormhole.
Yeah.
Why can't you just leave people alone? So you're an omnipresent entity. You constructed a wormhole, a stable wormhole, for over 10,000 years. I think much longer, but you know. And you did all this other stuff. Just leave people alone, man. Stay here and don't get involved. But yeah, that's. I think Kira is a better Bajoran, a better native to inhabit, because what was this considered, like a Gunsmoke?
Oh yeah, because Ro Laren had gone all the way into Starfleet and had
she was on the Enterprise at this time.
She was an officer in Starfleet. She wasn't just some Bajoran freedom fighter that had
been on Bajor. So I think if it was written for Michelle Forbes and they just threw this other gal in,
they changed her name because they had to,
because they had
the character, but
her dialogue wouldn't fit in Ro's mouth correctly.
I don't know. I thought the opposite when I first saw it. I saw most of what Kira was saying coming straight out of Ro.
Really?
And I think that they did very little to rewrite the dialogue. They just changed the name of the character.
But what I'm saying is,
over the series as it develops.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is,
Kira, she comes into her own, and the show wouldn't have been the same without her.
Even in that episode,
I think it got a little creepy when her and Odo got involved, but that's way later down the line.
She's a power player. She's just
first
weird. It was a Vedic, and then the first minister. And the Vedic was supposed to be the Kai. She's just a power player. Anyway, so that's her thing. She gets off on power, so good for her. But I don't think that it would have resonated as well coming from Ro Laren, because let's say that the first.
Well, especially if she's still in her Starfleet uniform.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
No, exactly.
Yeah.
Because here's Kira in her Bajor getup and
outfit,
fully, there as a Bajoran representative, national, on the station. And what was she, second in command?
Second in command, yes.
So no, it wasn't like she was just some schmuck.
And Ro was just an ensign,
right?
Yeah. So how could she
would have been there
as
on behalf of Starfleet?
Yeah, so she would have
been representing Bajor on behalf of Starfleet, but it wouldn't have been the same.
And
Right.
it wouldn't.
You're right.
It wouldn't worked out because it would have been, well, you're the oppressor. You're the one coming in telling us how to
Right.
be. Who cares if you have the uniform on? You're not a Bajoran.
Right.
Like you're not black unless you vote for me, kind of thing. It just seems very that it does. I just don't know where Michael Piller and Rick Berman were thinking that would work. You know what I mean? On a technical sense.
Well, I think it was because Michelle Forbes.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, right?
I agree. I'm just saying.
Because she had been, in those episodes leading up to the DS9 spinoff.
Yes.
On DS9, and they just wanted to put her into the spinoff. And I don't know if her turning it down might have impacted bringing Chief O'Brien over.
Yeah.
But, because Chief O'Brien was clearly the next gen connection. And a lot of people were happy to see that, though. I was, because O'Brien was more of a recurring character.
Yes.
Wasn't a regular every week kind of guy. But everybody kind of liked him and wanted to see more of him.
Mr. Kyle, right? Yeah,
kind of like a Mr. Kyle or a Mr. Leslie. Yeah. And Transporter Chief Kyle, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and it was... Anyway,
I think it works better this way. It does. I mean,
But still, even with some of the little issues and things that we
the issues like
we picked up on,
like Odo, Quark's makeup, and Kira's hair in the first episode. At least they changed that.
Yeah,
in the next
all that
episode.
had to be streamlined. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
But I mean, so did Worf's makeup in the beginning too.
Yeah.
So, but no, and then of course this is the premiere of this new thing that turned into probably the best of the Star Trek series.
Now,
really.
You talked about how you didn't think this would work when you first saw it.
No, I didn't care for the idea at all. I thought I didn't think how are they going to do Star Trek on a stationary space station? That's not Star Trek to me, at least. It wasn't to me. Star Trek. I mean, what's right in the preamble of the series? These are the voyages. You're out there exploring space. How's Star Trek going to work on a stationary station? But they made it work, and it was great.
Yeah. Now, when I
went into it very, very skeptical and really not liking the idea at all.
And I just went into it like, oh, hey, it's more Star Trek. I didn't have a connection to any of the characters other than O'Brien.
Right.
And I was like, oh, okay. But, I wasn't like, oh, geez. Because I was very young when TNG was out and then Deep Space Nine. So it wasn't like I was, I don't know what's the term, of the blood, I guess. That it has to be, regimented, or, this is the way it is, or, it can't be any other way. So I just thought it was great because it was different and it was exploring. I was tired of seeing humans because, they all look alike. But I liked seeing the Cardassians and the Ferengi and whatever else was coming through the wormhole.
Well, you know what? I always thought that DS9 kind of missed a few opportunities to showcase some of the classic species.
Oh, absolutely.
Which
they tried to revive in the books that happened right after season 7. Then Andorian and all sorts of other stuff.
Right.
Which they should have.
Which I would love to see, like, maybe some Tellarite merchant making a deal with Quark or something.
Yeah.
Something. It wouldn't have to be the focus of the whole episode, but just stick them in there.
Just as an Easter egg. An actual Easter egg.
Yeah. Some particular, familiar classic species just happens to be at Quark's bar.
Those little orange dudes.
In those scenes.
Those little orange dudes from Journey to Babel.
Yeah. Yeah. Or even maybe a Gorn. But
right.
We got Gorn in Enterprise. But, I mean, no. Like a classic looking Gorn in, like, revised new makeup or whatever, new prosthetic design.
No.
But still, unquestionably a Gorn.
Or even
sitting at the bar right next to Morn.
Yeah. Or
a Gorn and Morn.
Or even pictures in Odo's office, where he has all those pictures of all the most wanted
Yeah.
And all you ever see is Ferengis and Romulans or Vulcans or whatever, or humans. You don't see. There wasn't too many other species.
Right, and I just thought it would have been kind of cool, especially since DS9
was the most faithful and the most irreverent for TOS.
Yeah, it had more references to the TOS in the first season than I think the Next Gen had through the whole series.
Yeah.
You know, so why not like reinforce that with just a glimpse at some of the classic species coming through the station? Why not? Because it was this hubbub of activity, and like I said, maybe a Tellarite merchant making a deal with Quark or something,
or Orion, or Orion Free Traders,
or
something.
Orions, yeah, something like that. You know,
that'd
just
be
saying.
That'd be the only you should have done that.
Yeah, just saying.
Not that they screwed it up or anything, but
no,
it just would have been that extra thing on top.
It would have just been that
God.
little extra bonus, right? Because even when the show was up and running, I thought, you know what, it'd be kind of cool to see some classic species coming through Quark's bar.
Right?
You know, why not in the new updated makeup?
You got that paperwork?
But anyway, that's just me. Besides all that, Emissary still the best premiere Star Trek
to date.
You know, series premiere, yes. And with that,
like, share, and subscribe.
Thanks for listening.